Hello, government class. Today I want to do a short video talking about voting and specifically voting in New Hampshire. So, you all know the basics. You have to be 18, you have to be a citizen, you have to be a resident. That is how we vote. Means that you can't vote in New Hampshire and cross the border and vote in Vermont. You can only vote in the place where you are a resident. How do you know where you're a resident? Where does your mail go to? Where's your car registered? Any of those things are going to determine your residency. What's the address on your driving license if you've got one? Those are the things that determine residency. So that's the basics. You know why to vote. I don't think we need to talk about that. But I want to get into some of the specifics. So first things first, you can vote in a lot of different elections. Obviously, you know about the presidential election every 4 years. With that, often always comes a House election for members of the House of Representatives and a Senate election most times. There'll always be one out of the cycle where there isn't a senator being elected, but they serve every 6 years. So you've got those federal elections, but keep in mind you're also electing state officials, governors, governor's council, state reps, all those things are elected in even years as well. So there's a lot you can vote for. On top of that, as you guys know, in March, you have town meeting that gets voting as well to deal with town issues. So there's a lot of voting that happens once you're 18. March for town meeting. Everything else is in November. All right, we got that bit. So in New Hampshire, we have a voter ID law. It's one of the milder ones. Some are very, very restrictive, and I have some problems with those, but this one is pretty straightforward. So in essence, you need to do one of two things to establish your identity at the polls. First, you need to show a driver's license, a state ID, a military ID, a passport would work fine too, or you need to sign what's called a sworn affidavit, and it's basically a document that states that I live in, Lincoln or Woodstock or Twin Mountain or whatever, and this is my address, and if I'm lying, I can go to jail. It's perjury to lie on one of those. They do check those. If they find out you've lied on one, that actually is a offense that can send you to prison. So that's the way to do it. It means that you don't have to have a driver's license to be able to vote. That's one of the big mistakes people make. It's easier if you have a form of ID. But if you're willing to sign the sworn affidavit, then they will let you vote in New Hampshire. Okay? Obviously, I said 2 year intervals. So in terms of registration, where do you register to vote? You register to vote at the town offices. That's the simplest thing. You can register to vote ahead of time, or in New Hampshire, you can register on the day of election. Either is acceptable. Not all states are like that. If you leave the state, make sure you find out what the laws are. Some states, I believe Massachusetts, is like 6 weeks before the election, you have to be registered. So make sure that you understand what the rules are in whatever state you're in. Okay, we got that bit. How long do you have to live in New Hampshire to vote here? You just have to be a resident. You could have moved into the state yesterday and got yourself an apartment. As long as you have a license from New Hampshire or some proof that you live here, you are a resident. Anything else? I think, oh yeah. What if you're in college? This is a question a lot of you are going to have to answer if you are away for college, somewhere distant. What you can do is you can sign up at the town office for a absentee ballot. They will mail it to you at your college address. You fill it out and mail it back. That is one of the simplest ways to deal with that. We don't do online voting yet. I don't see it in the near future. There's just too many security questions on it. I think it works okay for America's Got Talent, but probably not for this sort of thing. But who knows, maybe in the future. But right now, the only way to vote if you're not going to be there on election day in New Hampshire is to get an absentee ballot, which please do if you are going to turn 18 at college and be voting. That's really important. Okay, so please make sure you've done the questions, you've answered everything, you've looked over the DMV voter site, and then you'll notice that there is an assessment on there asking you about what you think about voter ID laws in general and specifically New Hampshire's. So go ahead and do a little research. Look into voter ID laws. There's plenty of articles out there. Go find that information, think about them, and tell me what you think about a voter ID law. Okay, everybody else, please stay safe. Please do not catch this bug. Do what you got to do to protect yourselves and your families, and be well. Bye-bye.